Hi Scorpio, welcome to September. This is Teresa from Tarot by T. And before I start your reading, I want to call in some good energy. Create some sacred space around this reading. So this month we have a full moon in Pisces at the beginning of September. And then we have a new moon in Virgo, which will happen on September 17th. A lot's happening this month. Mars, one of your ruling planets, is going retrograde on the 9th of September, and it will be retrograde until November 13th. And then we have some planets moving forward. Jupiter will go forward on the 13th. It's coming out of a retrograde period. And Saturn will move forward on the 29th at the end of the month. So things should start to, we're starting to shake out of this stagnant energy. But I don't think we're really going to get there until maybe November, December, because of the Mars retrograde. But you should feel a difference, a little bit of a lighter energy, maybe. I don't know. These next 2 months are going to be difficult because of Mars mostly being in Aries and squaring all this energy in Capricorn. But there is hope. We have some good aspects this month. We have some difficult aspects, but I'll get into that later. In the meantime, let's see, what else did I want to say? Oh, then there's also the equinox on the 22nd. So we're changing seasons. So this is a powerful time. We're shifting. The energy is shifting this month. I don't think we're going to be out of the woods totally until the end of the year, maybe the beginning of next year. But at least, because especially when Mars, we need to get Mars out of Aries. So, because every time Mars hits one of those planets in Capricorn, it's difficult. So let's see what the cards say. What does Scorpio need to know about love and relationships for the month of September? What is coming up for September for Scorpio? This has been a crazy year, and it's not over yet. So what does Scorpio need to know about September 2020? What's coming up for them for love, relationships, anything else that might be important? What is going on? What does Scorpio need to know? Okay, let's see. Especially since Mars is one of your ruling planets, so whatever Mars does affects you more than others. So with Mars retrograde, you might be feeling, right now you're still feeling the power, Mars is going forward, you've had a lot of energy. When Mars retrogrades, you may have to take a step back and rethink, re-strategize. So let's see. Okay, you have the Strength card at the bottom of the deck. That's about taming the beast within, learning how to control your reactive nature, dealing with anger issues. So if not you, then someone that you know. 6 of Wands, 5 of Swords, Tower, the 7 of Cups, the Judgment, the 10 of Cups, the Death card, the 6 of Swords, the 4 of Cups, and the Hangman. Okay, this is interesting. So the 6 of Wands is a victory card, actually. You're being seen as someone who's really good at what they do, and you're being lauded. So if you're in a career situation, there could be some kind of career success coming, but at the same time, this is like a double, there could be some people that are jealous of you, or this 5 of Swords energy is toxic. You might be moving away from a toxic environment. You might be deciding to cut your losses and moving on. This could be a relationship. It could also be a work situation. Because the Wands energy to me is more work related. Especially the 6 of Wands. It's like you're celebrating, you're being, paraded in the, people are saying, you're really good at what you do. You're experiencing success. But you have this Tower here. So you may have had a wake-up call recently about about a person or a situation where you realize, I can't exist like this. I have to cut my losses and move on. I can't stay in this situation. The Tower is like breaking down whatever is false in your life. So that could be a relationship. It could also be a career situation that's just not working. And you're seeing the truth about this person or the situation. The Five of Swords, when you're dealing with the Five of Swords energy, that's hostility. That is that's a toxic situation where you feel victimized, or you feel they're not being fair with you. Someone is being hostile. They don't like, you just have to deal with someone's hostility. And so with the Five of Swords, the issue is, do I want to stay in this toxic environment, or do I want to cut my losses and move on? Because you're getting to a point where you can't put up with, nothing's going to change. The thing about the Five of Swords is, sometimes people can change. You talk to someone and you come to an agreement and you can make a bad situation better or a difficult situation better. But with the Five of Swords energy, that situation is not changing. So what you see is what you get. And if you can't deal with that, don't waste your energy trying to make it better. Just cut your losses and move on. That's the energy. And you have the talent. You have the ability to move on and move it. You don't have to put up with something that's not, you don't have to exist in a toxic environment, whether that's a relationship or a work situation, either one. Because I think, because with the Six of Wands, it could be a little bit of both. Now, the Seven of Cups is in the recent past. So you could have been kind of stuck in the choices. Maybe you have several options open to you, and you're not sure what direction to go in. So if you're in a relationship, maybe you have more than one person that's interested in you. And, should I stay in this toxic relationship, or should I move on to something else? Should I stay in this toxic work environment, or other people are wanting me to work with them, or should I apply to other companies or other jobs? So what's been holding you back in the recent past is your indecision. Because you've been just thinking about it, you haven't been ready to really take action. But coming up, I feel like you are going to take action. You're going to get to a point. You've already had the Tower moment, which is kind of, if you're living in a situation that's very oppressive, the Tower can release you from that oppression. Where you're not feeling like you're in a prison, you're stuck in this tower, and people are... It could also mean a blow to your ego. Maybe you were idealizing someone, giving them more credit than they're worth, and then when you see the truth about the person, you're like, wow, it's shocking because you never expected that. So the Tower is like the illumination. It's getting struck by lightning. It means truth is coming out. The truth is coming out, and once you see the truth, you can't unsee it, and you have to accept it. You can't sweep it under the rug anymore. You can't say, oh yeah, that make excuses for the person. They're okay. They're just upset, or if you're in a relationship and the person's really not a nice person, and you've been sweeping it under the rug. Well, maybe they're just having a bad day, and that's why they yelled out. That's why they were so rude to me. Or no. You're dealing with someone who's toxic, or if you're in a work environment. Well, everybody's under stress because of COVID. No, it's time to see the truth and take action based on that truth. Now, the Judgment is here, and the Ten of Cups is in your future. So this is good. You're going to be moving away. If something is coming apart at the seams, let it go, because the future is better. You have the Judgment. The Judgment is a wake-up call. It's an awakening. It's a rebirth. You can rise from the ashes, and you can be reborn. And with the Judgment, it's like you could even be aware. The Tower moment could even be a psychological breakthrough, where you suddenly see how you've been sabotaging yourself, or what have I been doing that's creating this situation? How can I change myself, and then change my future? That could be part of it too. The Judgment, though, usually comes up when you're moving on. Look, you have the Six of Swords here in your environment. You're moving on. You're moving away from difficulty. You're navigating a difficult situation. Your needs are changing with the Judgment card. you're feeling stronger. You're not going to put up with the same old, same old. You want what's due to you. You want to be in an environment where you feel welcome, where you feel rewarded, where you feel valued. Because look, you have this Four of Cups here. The Four of Cups is a card of feeling bored, feeling not appreciated, not valued. But you haven't been ready to make a real change yet. You've been just kind of thinking about it. Well, maybe I should check. You've been saying, maybe I should see what else is out there. Maybe I should check my options. Maybe maybe I don't have to settle. And you don't. Look at the Ten of Cups. This is waiting for you in the future. And you have the Death card here. That's another thing about ending, a cycle that's ending. You have to release the past. You have to create a new path. We are I think everyone is at this stage, even as a society at whole. We're on the edge of a new time, and the old way is collapsing. Things are just not working. Systems are collapsing. Things that were once okay are just not working anymore, and we need to create a new path. We have to create a new way. But to do that, we have to admit that the old way, we can't continue doing the same things and expect a different result. That's insanity, right? Einstein said, the definition for insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So if you're doing things and you're still getting the same result, you have to look at yourself and say, okay, what can I do differently? What do I need? Forget about everybody else. What do I need to do that's different so I can change the future outcome? And that's what's going to come up with the Judgment card and the Death. You're going to learn to release the past, and put an end to a cycle of tower and toxic, and work on yourself. And by working on yourself, because we can't control what's out there. We can't control other people, what they do, what they say. The only thing we can control is our reaction to the external world. And the only way you can change the external world is by working on you from within. You can change. If you change on the inside, everything on the outside will change. A lot of times what we do is we try to change the outside, and that's like putting the cart before the horse. We can't do that. You can't change the world working on the outside. You can only change the world by working on the inside. That being said, you're going to have an awakening, and you're going to start working on you, on the inside. And that's going to lead to the Ten of Cups. That's going to lead to moving away from difficulty. That's going to lead to the end of a cycle. That's going to lead to the end of feeling undervalued, underappreciated, not getting what you're worth. Now here, the Four of Cups, something is going to be offered to you, but you can't be stubborn. You're sitting there, like this guy is sitting there, things are offered to them, but they're not happy. It's like, I don't want that. I want what I want. And so the Hangman is here. This is a card of feeling like you're in limbo. You're going to have patience while this is, because we're going through a transition. And you have to have patience while you're working on you. Eventually you're going to be moving, giving something up for something better. But it's not going to be immediate. It's going to take time to develop. I'm not even seeing any time cards, except, well, with the 7, you are in transition. But the Strength card here is another key. This is a card of learning how to not to go to extremes, not to overreact when somebody pushes your buttons. Because when you're dealing with the Five of Swords energy, you're dealing with someone who's toxic, who likes to see people react, and they push your buttons, and then you react in a way like you let your anger come out, because they're triggering something within you, and then they turn around and go, look, that person's crazy. Look at how this person reacts. They have a problem. When really, it's this toxic person. But, so you have to learn how to self-control. You have to learn how to control your reaction, your anger, your emotions, and be a little bit, even if you're feeling it, you don't have to release it in a toxic way or in a way that's going to hurt you. So you have to keep your eye on the Ten of Cups and cut your losses, move on, work on you. Even if you need counseling to get there, do it. Because you're coming into a time when you can make some real changes. So let's see what the astrology has to say. Scorpio, this full moon is happening in your 5th house, and the sun is in your 11th house. So this is the romantic. 5th house is the fun house, romance, sex, children. Something is coming to completion. Maybe in a relationship where you might have been dating someone, and you're either seeing the truth about that relationship, or even with friendships, because the 11th house rules hopes, wishes, friends, the groups you belong to. Maybe you're deciding, you're seeing truths about certain people in your life, either a loved one, a relationship, romance, or even friends or groups that you belong to. You might decide, you know what, I need to cut some toxic people out of my life. I'm tired of this. Uranus, now this full moon is good because it's trining, the sun is trining Uranus. And Uranus is in your 7th house. It's going to shake up all your partnerships, not just romantic ones, but business partnerships as well. So there could be something unexpected that develops it's freeing you. Uranus wants to free you from a toxic relationship or a relationship where it's not a good fit. So things might come out suddenly. Some opportunity may come up, and with the moon in the 5th house, the opportunity could be to have a new relationship or a romance. It could also be an opportunity for you to express yourself more creatively. So it could be that if you get a job offer or a business partnership, it allows you to really show what you can do, and you're doing work that you love as opposed to just being a slave to someone else. Venus and Mercury are sextile. Mercury's in the 11th house, Venus is in the 9th house. So you could be connecting with someone from a distance. You may get a message. The 11th house is also, Mercury has to do with messages, thinking, communication, writing, ideas. So you could be communicating with someone who's at a distance. Could happen unexpectedly. Mars is going through your 6th house, and it's squaring Venus. So there could be a sexual connection, but it may not be, don't be desperate to just grab anything. If you're leaving a toxic relationship, you could be attracted by someone where it's just a physical thing and it's not a real connection. So Mars is going to make you want to just take action. So don't rush into it. Don't let the Mars energy make you rush into something without considering if it's a good fit. Mars is also squaring all your planets in the 3rd house. So you could be having some conflicts with relatives, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles. Maybe you're not seeing eye to eye with them, or you think they're too conservative or too controlling. Maybe they're giving you advice on your career or your health, and you don't want to hear what they have to say. So there could be some disagreement there. Now Mercury is trining Saturn. While it's sextiling Venus in the 9th, it's trining Saturn in the 3rd. So you could hear from someone who's at a distance. I feel like it could be someone at a distance, or someone who's a different culture than you. Maybe you have cultural differences or belief differences. You might be different spiritual paths. You might hear from someone where you can learn a lot from this person. They can teach you, they can open your mind or open your eyes to different ways of thinking and believing, and even different ways of loving, learning how to communicate in a healthier way. Venus opposing Saturn, there's a lot going on this month, is not a warm and fuzzy aspect. So you might feel cut off from relatives. You may feel that they're being too cold or harsh, or they don't understand, they have no sympathy. And especially with the square to Mars in this, it's just not, it's bringing up conflict and frustration. Mars is creating a lot of frustration. Now for you, because Mars is in the 6th, the frustration could be around work, or it could be around a health issue. But you might be fighting with your friends and your family, like your relatives. Like you might be coming home and saying, well, you know what happened at work today? And then they have a different view, and they have a more conservative view, and then you're fighting with them. Like, they don't understand me. They don't understand what's going on. So you don't feel supported. You may not feel supported this month by family and friends. and Neptune going through the 5th, you want to make sure that if you're connecting with someone romantically, that you're not idealizing the person, that you're seeing who they really are. Because someone may come across as a dream lover, and they may not be totally honest with you. With Neptune, you just never know. Now, if you're doing something creative, that's the best way to deal with the Neptune energy. If you're writing poetry or doing art or music, Neptune can give you that extra, inspiration, is what I would say. So then we have so Jupiter will go direct on the 13th, Saturn will go direct on the 29th. Now your ruling planet Mars goes retrograde on the 9th of September, so you may want to take a step back and don't initiate anything during the Mars retrograde period. If you're thinking of starting something new, wait till November. Wait till the end of November. Take a step back and reevaluate, recalculate your trajectory. Rethink about what your plans are, what your goals are, what your strategy is. Mars wants you to renegotiate, rethink. And you may not have the energy. You may not be feeling like you may want to take on the world now, but when Mars goes retrograde, you may just feel like you don't have the enthusiasm. So don't take on too much during this time. Just stick with what you've got going now. Try to solve problems, or if you have to leave something behind, leave it behind. But don't, like if you're thinking of starting a new business or starting something really big, I would wait till Mars goes direct, because in October we're going to have Mercury retrograde, and that's going to add to the confusion of communication. Now we have a new moon in the 11th house on September 17th. That could bring a new beginning. The 11th house has to do with friendships, the groups you belong to. It's also a wish fulfillment, hopes, dreams, wishes, things that you're, like a goal you're trying to achieve. So you have a new beginning coming at the end of the month. So I think that at this full moon, you may make the decision to walk away from something. Like, I'm done, And then at the new moon, you have a chance to put some energy, that could be a new friendship starting. This new moon is trine Saturn. So let's see, with Saturn being, you could have a new beginning with, maybe you reconnect with your relatives. If you've had a falling out with a cousin or a brother or sister, aunt, uncle, the 3rd house is siblings and immediate family. You could have a new beginning with them. Maybe you have a conversation and you come to some type of agreement. So if you had a disagreement, if you've been separated, I think with this new moon, if you want to reach out and reconnect, this is a good new moon to do it in, because it's trining Saturn in the 3rd house. So whatever new beginning you start with communication, involving this communication, like if you want to reach out to someone, you have the power of Saturn behind you. Jupiter is squaring, Mercury squaring Jupiter, and it's in conjunct Neptune, so communication is going to be difficult, especially because it's in the 12th house. You may feel that there might be some secrets that come out. Or you could be keeping your thoughts to yourself. Maybe you haven't been wanting to tell people how you feel. Maybe you're feeling misunderstood. You have to choose your words carefully, because you could be misunderstood with Mercury-Neptune connection. With Mercury in conjunct Neptune, you may want to say something, but it may come out in a way where you're misunderstood or people are not getting you. Venus, though, is squaring Uranus from the 10th house to the 7th. So if there's any kind of career development, you could actually even connect with somebody from work. There could be a work connection, because the 10th house has to do with your career path. And the 7th house, there could be an unexpected development in work that brings more money, that brings you a job that where you're doing something more creative. But because it's a square aspect, you want to be careful. Like, it could be really exciting, but it could be short-lived, because Uranus is unstable energy. You don't know if it's going to last. Now, you do have Saturn trining this new moon, so that could help. That helps stabilize things. If it was just the Uranus aspect, it could be a little bit rocky. But it's going to be a roller coaster ride with this new moon. With the Uranus energy and the Saturn energy, it's like up and down. And with Mars squaring everything, you're going to feel like you're driving with the brakes on. So you just don't want to be, because you have Mars going through the 6th house, you may not, you may be arguing more with people at work or in your day-to-day, job, your colleagues. The other thing is Mars in the 6th house, if it's health, you could be working really hard, maybe you're under a lot of stress, and you just don't have the energy. So you could be short-tempered with people. So you want to learn how to communicate this month. Don't overreact. Don't go into, if someone pushes your buttons, don't go into the reactive mode. Just bite your tongue and count to 10, and then try to respond in a more diplomatic way. Because Mars, with this T-square of Mars in Aries, the way out of any conflict is going to be through the Libra energy, which is the card of compromise. Libra is the sign of win-win, and learning to see things from another person's perspective, learning to see things from a different view, and learning to compromise, learning to, not be so aggressive or abrasive. Like Mars is warrior energy. So if you come on too strong, you might create more problems than it's worth. Or you might be dealing with someone who's in this fight mode, because the 7th house represents other people, the other. The 1st house represents you, and the 7th house is the other. And the 7th house is also the house of open enemies. So someone may be attacking you this month, and it could be creating conflict at work, or conflict, that affects your health in some way. So just stay calm. Focus on moving on, working on you, and moving toward this 10 of Cups energy. You can get it, but you have to admit, you almost have to say, okay, I give up. I can't fix this. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to waste energy fixing this. I'm just going to move on. And I'm not going to accept less than what I deserve, and I'm not going to let you push my buttons where I overreact and then I look like the crazy person. So that's the biggest lesson you have to learn for September, is not to overreact. Just be calm. If someone pushes your buttons, oh, okay. Try not to, because I know with Scorpio it's hard because you feel things so deeply. You want to retaliate. Try to stay calm and not do that, because that's going to be like hurting you. It's like shooting yourself in the foot. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to cut your nose to spite your face, as they say, because you can move on to something better. Once you realize that you're wasting time in a situation and you decide, I'm not going to give it any more energy, then you can focus your energy on something positive. That's what you need to do this month. Focus on the positive. Focus on getting away from something that's toxic. Focus on not letting anyone push your buttons. Focus on responding in a more diplomatic way. Don't go looking for a fight. Because when someone attacks another person during a Mars retrograde period, they're not going to win. So you have to kind of use psychology to deal with your opponent. If they're coming at you, you step aside. You don't respond with the same energy, because that's going to hurt you. You just step aside and let them come full force, and then they're going to look like the bad one or the crazy one. And you're going to be like, well, I don't know why this person's so upset. I'm just trying to make things work here, So think about that. And I think that the outcome will be positive if you can take these things into consideration and respond in the correct way. So that's my forecast, Scorpio. I know it was a lot today, but I hope this helps you, and I hope this resonates with you. And if you like this reading, click on the like button, the subscribe button. If you'd like a private reading, click on the link in the description box, and we can get you on the schedule. And thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you, everyone who's been ordering readings, commenting, liking. I love reading all the comments. So let me know if this resonates with you. In the meantime, enjoy September if you can. And I'll talk to you again next month. Okay, bye now.